Hello and welcome to post-match reaction to the Highlanders versus the Waratahs. And boy, another crazy game that we've seen from involving the Tars. And we had that one with the Hurricanes to kick off Super Rugby Trans-Tasman, didn't we? Was it? I can't remember if it was the first game or not, but definitely involved the Waratahs. And let's just remind ourselves as to how the Waratahs have gone this season. Yeah, that 48-64 game against the Hurricanes was their opening game. Then they put on 21 points against the Blues, losing obviously with 48 from the Blues. Then scored 28 points against the Crusaders, but letting in 54. And tonight, another 23 points whilst letting in 59. So a serious number of points there that the Waratahs have scored. But boy, oh boy, it has. They've also let in an awful lot too. Heidi Hi says Nocturnal Right. So yes, hi there, mate. Good to have you on board. Let's get my chocolate out of the way on my keyboard there that I've been chomping on. Now, one of the things that we've been saying is a difference between the Kiwi and Australian sides is that the Australian side's just inability to get over that gain line. And what the stat I've been using for that this weekend to look at it is basically is carries or meters per carry. You look at the Highlanders tonight; they were making 5.12 meters per carry. That's a high score on that one. But the Waratahs also did well, just a nudge over 4 meters per carry. So look, breaking the gain line is not the Waratahs' problem. The Waratahs' problem is the points they allow. Is their defence. Let's be honest. And look, 68% tackling tonight, but it doesn't matter if your tackling's how good your tackling is if you don't line up properly, and also if your line up is dysfunctional. Look, a real problem for the Tars is their injuries around their props, having some serious problems, having to bring in a prop who hasn't been playing with them. And you look at the Reds, who had to bring in a 19-year-old fullback who again hadn't been training with them last night. So definitely some question marks around the depth of these squads for the Australian sides there and their ability to bring players in when they need them. Having a quick look at the table, and admittedly it hasn't been updated with that game right now. But going into this game, the Waratahs had scored 97 points. You add on the 23 here, that takes them to 120 points. That's the most points that any of the Australian teams have scored, and also is more than the Chiefs and as well. Obviously, the Highlanders adding that 59 onto the 107 puts them at 166 now, just 1 point behind the Blues. And 11 points behind the Crusaders from a scoring point of view. Yes, that scoring isn't this Waratahs' problem. The problem is on the defence. They've now allowed 166 plus 59, 125 points in 4 games. That is absolutely nuts in that one. Defensively, they are just a shambles. Let's be honest. Nocturnal Right saying with the Waratahs ranking giving away penalties. Tonight they gave away 12-7 against the Highlanders. So on the wrong end of it this time. Not sure about how they're going overall. Suggesting perhaps that they're maybe too honest playing within the rules of the game. Look, I'm not sure it's that. If you have a chat with, or if you listen to, I've gone blank as to the ex-Wallabies props name, who's part of Gainline Analytics. We've had interviews with his partner in that agency before. Look, one of the things they say about cohesion is you can see high scoring, but it's on the defensive side that you really see the cohesion there, where you're trusting your outside guys, and you know where you are. So on defense is where you see whether a side is cohesive or not. And that just shows this Waratahs side is not cohesive. They've hardly played together. They're all brand new. Thank you, Simon, for reminding me. Yeah, Ben Darwin. And it's that lack of cohesion. It's the lack of playing time between these guys, the lack of trust inside and outside, that they'll actually tackle their man. And look, with the number of tries that they've allowed, it was 25 coming into this game. You can understand why they don't. Why there's that lack of trust. It's not a personal thing. It's just they are so used to things going wrong that they try and make things happen themselves, and that's a big problem for a defence that has to work as a system rather than that. Yeah, good evening to Simon for joining us in the live chat on YouTube. Don't forget, these shows are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, so whichever channel you prefer to listen to. And our regular shows also come out as a podcast as well. So do check out the podcast, please. So yeah, the Tars they've scored 13 tries going into this game. Another, 3 or 4 tries here, puts them up as being the top try scorers, even better than the Reds. In the Australian team, and they're getting that attack, but clearly on that defence, an absolute, absolute mess. And this was a second ranked, or there were a lot of changes for this Highlanders team. I mean, Kane Hamilton got, I think it was 72 minutes, only won 72 minutes in this game, which is probably more than he got all of last season, and probably more than he's got for all this season anyway, with Aaron Smith and Folau Fakatava taking up the game time. So good on him to be able to get through that many minutes there. Look, he was given a bit of an armchair ride. This was a fairly easy game for a scrum half, let's be honest, when it's open and messy as this. The Tars were in this up until half time. Their problem was, though, that they just couldn't exit, which meant that every time they had to, every time they got kicked to, they were going to give up a try. It was only a matter of time. And that meant that they had to make sure they scored a try every single time they kicked off. And as soon as they didn't do that, as soon as they kicked a couple of penalties to keep themselves in it, that essentially meant that they were going to fall behind on the scoreboard. Knocking over those 3 points with 2 minutes to go, you're kind of like, oh yes, I get the idea. Look, I'm a big proponent of keeping the scoreboard ticking over. I'm a big proponent of taking your threes, but then being kicked to with 2 minutes to go, and you're like, well, look, you're going to end up just giving up a try, and you're going to suddenly go in, rather than 3 points down, you only go in 10 points down, which is what happened. As soon as the Highlanders got hold of that ball in the Tars 22, you're like, it's going to be a try. It's just a matter of when, not if. And that's how the half is going to end. And that was really, so in some ways, whilst I would normally say, yes, take the 3, I think perhaps taking that 3 was actually a poor choice by them. They've been better off kicking to the corner. Even if they hadn't scored, they're going in 26 points down. So going in 6 points down rather than going in 10 points down, which is what happened in this one there. So a real problem there. I do think, I'm not sure I'm saying here all those teams struggle with exit plays. Look, I do think the Tars struggle in a different way to the other teams than we saw with, say, the Force or the Reds. I think it's a very different, a different problem that they've got, really, because they've lost a whole team of players over the last 2 years, and this is practically a brand new team that's put together here, and also without the experience that the Force have done. And the Force is a brand new team as well, but that team has been put together with experienced heads in there to try and lead them around. As I say, the Highlanders, a whole bunch of players, or a couple of key players missing in the forwards and also in Aaron Smith there. Put out a nice, it's great to see Aaron Smith. I put a tweet out saying that with Tony Brown in Japan, it was good to see that Aaron Smith has stepped up and was wearing the flat cap in the coach's box and filling that role that Tony Brown normally takes. So Aaron Smith there in Tony Brown's role with the flat cap being the boss in there. So so that's there. Bro, can you turn it camera? Sorry, mate, no idea what you're trying to say there. The camera is on. I'm not quite sure what. Okay, look at the camera probably rather than looking at off to the side screen where I can see comments, etc. So maybe that's what you're talking about. But hey, so look, this one was just like a basketball game in that first half. In the second half, then the Highlanders got a bit better on their defence, stopped the Tars from scoring. The Tars couldn't stop the Highlanders from scoring, and the Highlanders just slowly pulled away. Look, scored a couple of tries in the last minute to blow out the score. They didn't actually get the bonus point until the 61st minute with Hemino's line-out maul try, which when you look at this score, to not have the bonus point until that point is a bit of a surprise, really. The Tars did keep themselves in this game in that first time. Can I show the game, please? No, I can't show the game, mate. If I do that, then basically my channel gets taken down. So no, I can't show the game. I'm talking about the game. This is the reaction to the game. This is not a showing of the game. Have I been doing some? Have I been doing some New Zealand rugby research, Paul? Very. Hey, it's what I do all the time. It's just looking and talking about rugby. So, look, it's this puts the Highlanders now on they've got the 5 points there, so it puts them on 18 points, the same as the Crusaders, 1 point behind the Blues. Very tight at the top there. Next up, the Hurricanes now over at the Brumbies have to get the win, but not just to get the win. If they get the win, that puts them on 19 points, same as the Blues. If they get the bonus point win, they'll go top of the table. Personally, I've actually backed the Brumbies in this next game. I think the Brumbies will be able to turn over the Hurricanes. It's the first game back home, or it's the first home game actually of Super Rugby Trans-Tasman for the Brumbies in round 4. Shows you what a tough schedule they've had up until now. Also, they're not going to get bullied by the Hurricanes forwards in the same way that they were by the Blues and the Chiefs forwards. So I think they're going to have a chance there on that. So yes, that's what's what is going to happen on. Well, that's my prediction for that game. Look, I'm not sure what more to say about this one. It was a crazy game in the same way that the Waratahs Hurricanes game was as well, particularly in that first half. This is the highest ever score for the Highlanders against the Tars, which I guess shows you what this Tars team is like at the moment. They are much improved on where they were early in the season, and it's good to see that, and it's fun to see that. But defensively, they still are an absolute shambles. It's amusing to hear that the defensive coach was kind of in line to be head coach. And let's be honest, the results in this one really has probably caused the way the defense has gone this season has caused let's put his chances of making head coach of this one a real problem. Nocturnal writes, Ethan de Groot like a beast out there. Yeah, look, he's had a really good debut season for the Highlanders. For me, their rookie of the year. I know that Hemino got it, but I think calling Hemino an established international as a rookie is stretching it a little bit. I do understand it is his debut season for the Highlanders, but I think Ethan de Groot is much more the kind of the rookie and is having a fantastic season there. And there's a lot more to come from that young big guy as a prop. Really scored 2 tries tonight. Really moving on from just bit from expanding on his scrimmaging game, scrimmaging lifting game, and getting himself active, particularly when they're not very far out from the try line. There with his taking it up and bashing it over. A guy of that size is very, very hard to stop. Maddox with a couple of try, or with one try and then a one disallowed as well, had a decent game and is kind of some really good form for him as well. Harrison a bit on and off. Look, had an injury. He's got played that position last week, so let's hope he returns. He's still a young guy, but so he needs some time to get back to his best form after some time off. Yeah, I'd say not much more to really say about this one, in all honesty. a crazy game where the Highlanders in that first half got sucked into basketball, tennis, and really needed to shut down the Tars defensively. Allowed them way too much leeway. I did put a question out there. I said, "Are the Waratahs really that good at an attack?" Because they have dragged the what I call it, the Hurricanes and the Highlanders now into some really high-scoring basketball games. Though the games they've still scored points, got over 20 points, but haven't really been getting up into haven't really weren't really in those games in the same way they have been in the Hurricanes and the Highlanders ones. Yes, say next game tonight, Brumbies versus the Hurricanes. This one I think is a really intriguing one. And then tomorrow, don't forget, we've got the Chiefs versus the Rebels over in Sydney. They were due to be playing in Hamilton. I was going to be there with my media pass, but wasn't. But obviously can't fly over to Sydney for that game. So that one's tomorrow afternoon. And then don't forget to join us at 8 p.m. tomorrow evening for the Super Rugby Review Show. We'll go over all 5 of the games from this one. This is more kind of hot takes straight afterwards, after the game, rather than that more of a review style show we'll bring you tomorrow evening. Enjoy the next game. Don't forget you can join me on Twitter at Driving Maul, where I'll be discussing the game as it happens, and you can tell me how wrong I am with my prediction of a Brumbies win over the Hurricanes over there.